Okay, outsourcing, it's a misnomer because mostly people think that outsourcing is only the work that we do in India. Outsourcing started close to 100 years ago when the US moved its manufacturing facilities to China. That was the first outsourcing, right? And but then the knowledge outsourcing commenced or came into India sometime when Amex started the outsourcing business in Gurgaon. That was way back in 1984 or 85, if I remember right. And that was the first outsourcing unit which came in. And after Amex, it was GE who set up a captive unit. So the initial first two were captive, Amex as well as the GE. Both are captive, and that's how the outsourcing came into India. And outsourcing in India is basically a combination of IT and the knowledge process. So it is not just only the voice and knowledge process. IT also in a big way was outsourced by the US. And IT, you know that it's only available in India, no other country. So IT came in a big way into India, and which is what your Infosys, Wipro, TCS, they all sort of lapped up whatever came into India, and they have grown big. KPO industry is basically customer centric. So all that you need is desire to serve the customer, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is IT or knowledge processing or voice, irrespective of whatever it is, what you need is a desire to serve the customer. If you have a customer orientation, qualifications do not matter, because I have seen people moving up to even CEO level who are not actually qualified. Typically we call them the call centers, etc. So the end customers could be millions of people spread across the globe. They could be calling from anywhere, and then you need to take each call as if that's the first call, and then put on a pleasant face, talk to them, and make them happy. End of the day, end of the call, they should go as a happy customer. One is captive, non-captive. When it comes to captive, the banking and financial services industry, for obvious reasons, they do not give it to a third party. They keep it as captive. Like if you look at Citibank or any of these banks, big banks, Scope International, etc., they have not outsourced it. For obvious reasons, because of the financial numbers and all, they do not want others to know. So they will not outsource. They'll outsource it, offshore it, but they will not give it to an outsider. They'll set up a captive unit. But other industries where the data is not that important, it is important, but at the same time they have enough controls around this data, they will outsource it and give it to a third party. See, if you're talking of a personal growth, obviously it would be the non-captive, the personal growth, because captive, all said and done, even if it is going to be 5,000 strong, your growth is going to be within that 5,000, unless you move from one captive unit to another captive unit, and which is going to be a huge challenge in terms of the second captive unit may not really want you. Whereas in a non-captive, the entire industry, there are hundreds of businesses available where people can keep moving from one unit to another unit easily, and there comes the growth. Okay. There's Wipro, TCS, they all sort of lapped up whatever came into India, and they have grown big. KPO industry is basically customer centric. So all that you need is desire to serve the customer, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is IT or knowledge processing or voice, irrespective of whatever it is, what you need is a desire to serve the customer. If you have a customer orientation, qualifications do not matter, because I have seen people moving up to even CEO level who are not actually qualified.
What would you mean customer orientation?
Customer orientation is basically See, you can have outsourcing from a B2B unit or a B2C unit. In a B2B unit, it's a guy who is actually outsourcing the business. He is your God. He is your customer, end customer. So you need to be focused on him in terms of what he needs, etc., etc. I completed my chartered accountancy. There was no outsourcing industry in India, because outsourcing in India, it started only in 1990. Okay, in a big way in Chennai especially. Otherwise, so I got into manufacturing, I got into trading, and then before I came into the outsourcing industry, which was much, much later. And for the past 20 years, I've been with outsourcing industry, and I also take pride in saying that Chennai got its first outsourcing business by way of Ford Business Service Center, and where I was personally involved in that, in setting up, etc. In this industry, sky is the limit, I would say. But a person who comes in should have a very clear aptitude for this industry, for service, and then come in. Not with a view to just make money. This industry is not for people who are just coming in with a view to make money. You come in with a view to have a career here, service the client, and grow. Sky is the limit for them. And as I earlier mentioned, you do not need appropriate accounting qualification, etc., to come into this industry. Anybody who has got, so it is basically the personality of that person which makes a huge difference. If the person has got a service desire to serve, and also the willingness to work with the people, that's very, very important. If a person cannot work with people, because this industry is all about people, if a person cannot work with people, he cannot survive. He cannot become a team lead, he cannot become a manager, right? So he will be out in no time. So these are all some of the skill sets which are required and requirements for this industry, and he can go anywhere. So industry, somehow you can survive based on the basic skill sets for which you are hired. With that you can just grow up. But here, in fact, one of the aspects in this particular industry is you can move across various activities. Like, it does not have to be service. If you join in service delivery, 3 years down the line, suppose if you have an aptitude to go into transition, you can move into transition. From there you can move into quality, you can move to, so you can move crisscross, and then wherever opportunities, career opportunities exist, you can keep moving up, which is not to that extent feasible in a manufacturing or a telecom or any other trading activity, etc., etc. It's not there. Country-wise, Philippines and Ireland. Philippines for certain voice-based activities, Philippines, that's all, call center activity. But if you really look at accounting or any of the other technology-related activities, Ireland is the closest competition. And if you look at the IT side, there are so many in Asia itself who are available, like Sri Lanka, etc. They have good many IT guys, IT engineers, so who can provide the competition for you. In a BPO, every time you bring in a new job, it's a new activity starting. I need some 500 employees, I need seats, I need workstations, I need computers, I need all the skills, support forces, everything I need. Where do I suddenly get it from? The easiest thing for anyone is to reach across to the nearest competitor within the industry, poach people. So if you really look at the attrition breakdown, poaching will be the major factor. People willingly go. If I get $500 here and someone else is offering me $700, why won't I go? I will go. Especially at the lower level, because at the lower level it does not really matter to them. Whether it is ABC I'm working for, XYZ I'm working for, end of the day I'm working for dollars, right? So why won't I go for $800? I just pick that and go. And that is what is actually the attrition level you're referring to. In a voice process, typically it is taken as a low to middle level job, right? So at best a person can move up to a team leader. That's it. Pure voice skills I'm talking about. But the moment that person also adapts the managerial skills and the various other skills required for moving up, that person can become a manager and move up. But the scope is very limited, because how many voice jobs you have in India? You don't have that much. The process itself is moving over to a tech-enabled activity, which means the system can do, a robot can do. When they're saying that we don't even need a human being to sit in front of a microphone and take the call, etc., etc. So now the entire transition is happening over there in terms of technology and robots, etc., coming in and displacing the human beings. Curbs are more political in nature, in my opinion. I do not think that these curbs will remain. So the future is, in any case, once it's outsourced, they stay outsourced. If you really observe that the past few decades, the work has been moving from one country to another country. That's it. It never went back to the origin country. So that being the case, even if Trump sort of rules a country for another 20 years, the work cannot go back because there is no talent available there in that country. Which is one of the reasons it started from Ireland to now it has come to Asia. Asian continent will go around in circles, and then after that it will go to South Africa, and then possibly to Sri Lanka. It will keep moving country to country, but it will not go back to their origin country. Margins are very low. So it's becoming purely a volume game. Whether it is Infosys or TCS or Cognizant or Sutherland Global, Accenture, whoever it is, IBM, whoever is in this industry now, everyone is surviving on the basis of volumes and not on the basis of simple margin. The margins no longer exist because of two reasons. One is the internal competition within the country as well as from countries like Philippines, etc. The Philippines is saying, or Sri Lanka is saying that if India cannot give it to us, we will do it. And then it's like becoming like a brinjal business, right? And the outsourcing countries also, they are also under a lot of cost pressures. They also have to reduce the cost year on year. So they're saying, okay, last year I gave you 20 cents. This year, why should I give you 20 cents? I'll give only 15 cents. Because your people should have become more capable now. That means they can take, instead of 40 calls last time, they can take 60 calls in your own language, I'm saying. So, which means the expectation of the client, he does not know that the person has changed already. A new person has come in, so he's going to start again from 40. He's saying that is your problem. Don't put the attrition inefficiency on me. He is saying that your person, if that person had remained on the job, person would have become more efficient, and that efficiency you pass it on to me by reducing it 20 cents to 15 cents. When you are coming in, part of your responsibility is to get to know who you're working for, what you're working for. Surely, not just only get to know the process. Okay?
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Reddy.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks. My pleasure.